Today's session felt like a reset. The market didn't simply drift, it accelerated into a broad-based uplift that quietly rewrote the intraday narrative. Bulls returned with conviction after a short pause, and that quiet confidence translated into one of the strongest single-day market rallies we've seen in months. Let's walk from global cues into the tape, break down sector rotation, examine flows and technicals, and end with crisp levels and a watch list you can use on your trading desk or for your video lower thirds. Global market overview. U.S. equities earlier in the day set a constructive tone amid softer U.S. macro beats that increased hopes of a Fed easing later this cycle. That dynamic helped risk assets globally. Crude stabilized after recent weakness and traded modestly higher intraday, while gold picked up safe interest in small bursts. The combined effect, a risk tone without excess exuberance, which encouraged broad buying in Asia and Europe ahead of the Indian session. Takeaway for India: the global backdrop favored rotation into cyclicals and commodities, while also giving room for domestic flows to drive the rally. Indian market overview. Live close snapshot, today. Nifty 50 closed at -26,205.3, gain plus 320 points, a sharp intraday rebound that pushed indices near record territory. BSE Sensex closed around 85,609.5, up over 1,000 points. BankNifty closed 59,468, 59,528, mid 59,000s, strong bank participation. Markets opened on a constructive global note and then accelerated as buying broadened from midcaps into large caps. What stands out is the breadth. Buyers were not limited to defensives, metals, midcaps, and select financials joined the rally, pushing market cap higher by a sizable intraday amount. The tone converted from wait and watch to risk-o by mid-session. Sector performance breakdown, Live plus reasons. Top performing sectors, today, Live. Metals, broad strength on improved demand expectations and weaker dollar pressure on commodities. JSW Steel and other metals led the pack. Financials, PSU banks, strong participation as BankNifty rallied in the mid-59K zone, with multiple bank names leading gains. Oil and gas energy, selective strength as crude stabilized. Weak lagging sectors. Very few, the rally was broad today. Some defensive IT names lagged intraday but many ultimately participated in the late uptick. Why? The combination of softer US macro prints, crude stabilization, and positive domestic flows created a risk-o environment where cyclicals and financials benefited most. Top gainers and losers, live table summary. Representative top gainers. Reliance Power, one of the intraday top performers. GMDC, strong move among metals mining plays. MCX Paytm JSW Steel Tata Power, among notable winners across the dashboard. Representative top losers. A handful of large names cooled early or underperformed intraday. Use the NSE Top Gainers Losers page for exact percent and rank at render time. FII-DII activity. Live snapshot. FII, monthly snapshot example net slightly negative for note-to-date in the IIFL snapshot, -669.34 CR for month in equity, but intraday today saw renewed FII interest in certain segments. The key point is the swing from earlier caution to selective buying in cyclicals. DII, DIIs continued a strong net positive flow for the month, supporting dips. DII net tilde 31908.99 CR month to date on IIFL snapshot. Interpretation: DIIs remain a structural support. FIIs turned more constructive today in pockets. That combination catalyzed the rally. Technical analysis: multi-timeframe, live levels plus structure. Nifty, multi-timeframe, live technical read. Daily, strong bullish day. Nifty closed above 26,200 after reclaiming earlier areas of resistance. Daily momentum turned positive with a broad participation candle. Hourly, momentum surged mid-session. Watch for follow-through tomorrow. 15. BankNifty, multi-timeframe, live technical read, correct and live. BankNifty was a clear leader today, rallying into the upper 59K range with strong breadth among major banks. That makes BankNifty the primary market mover to watch for short-term leadership cues. Corrected and live educational levels, use for overlays. Support: 58,400 to 58,700, key demand cluster intraday pivot zone. Resistance: 59,000 to 59,400, current supply zone. Decisive breakout above this with volume suggests extension. Structure: daily contracting triangle breakout expansion today into mid-59K. The next session will test whether this strength sustains or reverts into profit booking. Market psychology: why traders behaved this way today. Today the psychology shifted from cautious to opportunistic. Early session caveats from global markets were overtaken by risk appetite once US data increased hopes of easier policy later, that moved capital into cyclicals and banks. Traders rotating into cyclicals amplified breadth, while short-term traders chased momentum in midcaps and metals. Institution behavior: DIIs continued buying on dips, FIIs rotated into cyclicals selectively. The result was a strong upward repricing rather than a narrow, index-only rally. Important domestic and global news drivers: live. Global: softer than expected US prints and energy headlines, crude stabilizing, gave markets a green light for risk assets. Reuters noted oil stabilization after a recent low, which improved commodity sentiment. Domestic: no major policy change, corporate headlines and sector-specific cues, autos, metals, helped the broad rally. The midday and closing commentary from Indian portals emphasized broad participation and strong market breadth. Important domestic and global news drivers: live. Global: softer than expected US prints and energy headlines, crude stabilizing, gave markets a green light for risk assets. Reuters noted oil stabilization after a recent low, which improved commodity sentiment. Domestic: no major policy change, corporate headlines and sector-specific cues, autos, metals, helped the broad rally. The midday and closing commentary from Indian portals emphasized broad participation and strong market breadth. Tomorrow's market outlook: educational, non-advisory. Scenarios to watch: educational. 1. Bullish follow-through. If overnight US futures hold and Nifty stays above 26,200, expect extension toward 26,500 as momentum buyers and FIIs add exposure. 2. Profit booking pullback. A failure to hold 25,900 to 25,800 could invite mean reversion trades back toward 25,600 to 25,700. 3. Bank Nifty leadership. If BankNifty holds above 59,000 to 59,400 convincingly with rising volumes, the financials may lead another leg higher. Educational bias, for narration neutral to constructive while key supports hold. Watchlist for tomorrow, stock names included, educational chart study only. These stock names are for chart study and script inclusion only, not recommendations. JSW Steel, strong intraday leadership in metals, study for momentum and volume expansion. Reliance Power, among today's top movers, watch whether the move is sector-driven or stock-specific. HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank, watch leaders in BankNifty for continuation or early reversal signals as the index tests mid-59K levels. Paytm MCX, examples of midcap strength that participated in the broad rally, watch relative strength versus index. Educational insert. Volume plus breadth is equal to confirmed breakouts. A price move looks powerful only when volume and breadth back it up. Today's rally had both, not just a few index leaders but a wide number of stocks participating. That's what separates a genuine breakout from a short-lived squeeze. Educational insert. Volume plus breadth is equal to confirmed breakouts. A price move looks powerful only when volume and breadth back it up. Today's rally had both, not just a few index leaders but a wide number of stocks participating. That's what separates a genuine breakout from a short-lived squeeze.